Hey, what's up out there, Twitter Nation, YouTube Nation? Coming in with a little pre-Halloween music there. I'm Cortd, hosting. If I can turn out how to figure out turn my phone off there. Well, as you can tell, the glitch is kind of taking place here as we're a little bit late tonight. Or let me rephrase and say I'm a little bit late tonight. The other jabronis that I'm normally on here with, Swaggy C, he's getting, I believe he's getting a pedicure right now. K Hass is trying to catch up on some beauty sleep. He's trying to look half as good as my ugly mug right now. So he better, damn, he might as well pop a couple of melatonins, a couple whatever else he wants to take, and sleep for a couple of days to look half as good as me. But you know what? It doesn't matter because I'm the guy that's bringing you the fantasy football heat over the past couple of weeks. Gave you a 181 3 weeks ago. Had kind of an off week. Then I dropped a 155 bomb on you this past week that if you're like me, you cashed in qualifiers, you cashed in cash, obviously, and you dominated in your tournament plays. Every entry I put in cashed out at about 3 to 4 times its value. That if you're playing cash games and you want to play it safe, that's the way to go. I mean, all you need to do is come in like the top 60 or top 40% of the field. FanDuel, DraftKings, they get their 10% cut. Top 45, 40% of the field, depending on what kind of entry you put in, and you're doing okay. You double up every week, and well, you'll be a pretty happy guy by the end of the year. So you know what? In the immortal words of K Hass, without further ado, let me get right into my quarterbacks. So looking at this week here, you know, it's nice I don't have to hear any blabbering back and forth about any Steelers, any Bengals, or any of that good stuff. But I'm looking at two distinct guys here. And, you know, when you look at DraftKings and you look at FanDuel, they line up differently because of that Sunday night game. Now, Sunday night has a 55-point over-under. You're looking at the New England Patriots versus the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, can you say payback? Can you say revisit? Whatever narrative street you want to use for this game, it's there. Matty Ice knows what happened. All right, Tom Brady knows what happened. Both sides know that they're out to prove something. You know, 28-3. This game is not going to be 28-3 at halftime. This game is not going to end up with one team blowing the other team out in the second half. This game, I believe, is going to be a slugfest through and through. Now, the beautiful thing is when you're looking at DraftKings, you do not have to worry about that game because it's not on the main slate. FanDuel it is. So, two completely different lineups here, a couple similarities, but let's get right at it. So, my DraftKings lineup, I am starting with a guy who's going up against the biggest dumpster fire excuse for an NFL team there is, and that is Marcus Mariota coming off of a healthy week of practice going up against the Cleveland Browns. Every quarterback out there has completely lit up the Cleveland Browns. They don't need to throw for 400 yards. They don't need to pass the ball 40 times. What they do is they get out there, they get the score up, they get up by 3-4 touchdowns, then they change motion, change gear, switch down to the running game. Marcus Mariota is going to be my DraftKings play of the week at 6,900. The guy is healthy. His hamstring is healed up. Look for him to pass for 2 to 3 touchdowns or run 1 or 2 of those in also. I think that Tennessee is pretty much a safe bet to score you 30 points this week, and that gives you 4 touchdowns. But Mariota is going to be involved in all of them. And if not, I'll get into that a little bit later on. So he's my quarterback on DraftKings this week. My FanDuel quarterback who actually has that Monday night game, I'm going with Matt Ryan. You know, an interesting stat that came out this past week because of Josh McCown that everybody that watched last week knew that I was singing Josh McCown's praises. And by the way, NFL, Roger Goodell, NFL, Mike Pierre, whoever the hell's up there in New York for you guys, you screwed me out of a touchdown there with McCown, Safarian Jenkins. If that was any other team, any other place other than against the New England Patriots, that's a touchdown. You don't overturn that for Brady and Gronk. That's complete bull donkadonk. And you know what? You heard it here first because I tweeted that out about 5 seconds after it happened. Josh McCown should have won me a huge, I'm talking him and Safarian Jenkins would have got me in like the 165 area. All right. And I'd be dancing my way to the bank right now. But nonetheless, off to what I was saying, which I don't even remember, I do. The New England Patriots are the only team in history to give up 6 consecutive weeks of 300 yards passing. If Matt Ryan cannot break 350 yards the way Josh McCown did last week, I don't know what the hell's going on. I might as well just quit fantasy sports altogether. The lock of the week is Matt Ryan throwing for 3 touchdowns, 300 yards. Like I said, if that doesn't happen, you will not see my face again. I will resign. I will quit. Everybody out there watching us, all 3 or 4 people, I apologize. So, Matty Ice is going to be my quarterback. He's coming in. You look at the quarterback rankings here. You have Brady coming in at 9,200. Matt Ryan, 87. You know what? Spend up, spend down. Matt Ryan's the way to go. Running backs. All right. A guy that I have in both FanDuel and in DraftKings, all right, who's coming in. I think he's very reasonably priced, probably a little underpriced, especially with the injury news coming out of Tennessee. Okay, you have DeMarco Murray, who did not practice today. Last week, him and Derrick Henry kind of finally took the reins there. You know, he definitely outproduced DeMarco. He has been for the past couple of weeks. Last week, 19 carries, 131 yards. Only 1 catch, 14 yards, and a touchdown. So you're looking at a guy here, he broke off a long run, and that kind of padded those stats. But Cleveland sucks, and Derrick Henry is now taking over the lion's share of the carries in Tennessee, especially with an injured DeMarco Murray. Look for Derrick Henry to be an absolute usage stud, especially once Mariota takes him up by like 28, 31 points by half. Look for Derrick Henry to get a huge usage. Cleveland is terrible. They are a sieve on defense completely against the pass and the run. Derrick Henry is 5,500 on DraftKings, and he's coming in at 5,600 on FanDuel. My other running back is a guy who is going up against another. Now, this year I believe it's the second highest over-under game of the week, and that's the New Orleans Green Bay. Now, New Orleans everybody's talking about Kamara. You know what? Whatever. Mark Ingram's usage has increased every week. They're going to be going up against Green Bay. They're going to have the lead. Green Bay is not an especially good run defense. But you know what? It's fine because Mark Ingram is getting the goal line carries. He's getting the red zone work. He's targets. He's getting the carries. Mark Ingram is 7,100, but I think he's going to have a very nice week up against the Green Bay Packers. I mean, he's second, I don't know where I was going to go with that. Anyway, he's the other guy I'm taking at 7,100. If you want to spend up a little bit, which I am not opposed to on FanDuel, you have guys you can very easily get in the mix. The other guy that I love that I'm using in DraftKings this week is Todd Gurley. If you look at the past 4 weeks, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, Gurley was the Rams offense. And then he went up. He had 2 tough games. He went up against Seattle. What other team did he face here that kind of drove his numbers down a little bit? So he faced Seattle and he faced Jacksonville. Jacksonville's the number 1 defense in the league. But still, Gurley ran for 116 yards against Jacksonville. Seattle, not so much. But you look at this guy's usage. You know, He was he's getting 20-plus touches a game, 30-plus touches almost in some games. And when you look at a guy that's getting that usage, going up against an Arizona team, which I think is a little suspect right now, I'm not completely sold on them in defense in any way whatsoever. I definitely feel that Todd Gurley is the way to go. So if you're not feeling me on the Mark Ingram, that is fine. Bump on up to Todd Gurley. He fits in your lineups nicely. So my DraftKings, like I said, I'm using Derrick Henry and I'm using Todd Gurley. Jumping down to wide receivers, this is where I get a little askew here. Okay, both lineups. You have a divisional matchup: Cincinnati versus Pittsburgh. If you guys have been watching the Cuz picks recently, you know we've gone back and forth with some rhetoric between Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, the Mike Tomlin, the whole dysfunctional locker room, this, that, and the other. One thing is true. Ben Roethlisberger wants to keep Antonio Brown happy. Martavius Bryant wants to be traded. See ya. Pack your bags. Get the hell out. Jesse James, Vance Davis, whoever else they have there catching the ball, Antonio Brown is going to get at least 10 to 15 targets. Going up against Cincinnati, it's a divisional game. It's in Pittsburgh. It's going to be I think it's going to be a knockout game. Look for Big Ben, Antonio Brown to connect. 150 yards, easy. Touchdown to makes it nicer. But I'm definitely taking Antonio Brown as my stud of the week in both FanDuel and DraftKings. Now, this would be the time that K Hass would talk or Swaggy C would read something to us. So I'm going to take my break right now. So bear with me. If you're out there drinking, which I hope you are, especially if you're watching me on a Thursday night, cheers. I'm enjoying a caramel apple cuvee by Ellicottville. You know, it's brewed in caramel, green apple, citrus, vanilla, oak barrel aged. It's definitely a fall drink. So if you like your Oktoberfests, you like your pumpkin beers, but you want something a little bit different, what's better than a caramel apple in the fall? So now that I spouted out about Antonio Brown, we need to find some receivers that are going to save you some cash. Two guys I like on DraftKings. I like Eric Decker over Rashard Matthews. Decker's getting a little bit more of the red zone targets. He's playing in the slot a little bit more. Believe it or not, Cleveland can actually shut down a number one receiver from time to time. I think that Eric Decker is going to be a little bit lower owned than Marquise Lee, and I think he's going to give you the same upside, especially in the red zone. Look for Eric Decker to get a little more targets than Marquise Lee. Eric Decker, 4,300 on DraftKings. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm saying Marquise Lee. I don't mean Marquise Lee. I mean Rashard Matthews. Because Marquise Lee is my next receiver. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. Going up against Indianapolis. Indianapolis is terrible against the pass. Indianapolis is terrible against everything. So I'm surprised I'm not taking Fournette this week. But you know what? Every now and then a train has to jump the tracks a little bit. So I think this is going to be his off week. Just for whatever reason other than I'm not picking him. So when you take Blake Bortles, who's going to be running and gunning, okay, especially if they get down somehow, look for Marquise Lee. Another guy coming in, 4,300. I like him for 8 to 10 targets this week. Same with Decker. I like him for 8 to 10, well, maybe 6 to 8 targets this week. But those two guys on DraftKings are coming in both at 4,300. That's going to give you room for all your other guys out there that you need. Bumping over to FanDuel. So, of course, I have Antonio Brown. I'm attacking the Atlanta-New England game, as you can tell, because I'm pairing this up with Matt Ryan. These options are not available on DraftKings. So, Julio Jones. Julio Jones is going to be the the number one guy out there, I think he's going to be extremely high owned, just because some of those people out there are going to look and they're going to say, hey, number one receiver against New England. I want to spend a ton of money on Julio for any other reason than the fact that his name is Julio Jones. Smart money is going to play elsewhere. Mohamed Sanu is practicing. Mohamed Sanu is going to play. New England, believe it or not, despite the fact of them being the worst team against opposing quarterbacks this year and being an absolutely putrid pass defense, they actually haven't done a bad job of shutting down number one receivers. Julio Jones. Look for Julio Jones to have a pedestrian week. I mean, the guy himself, he's not having a great year. I believe he's only averaging like 8 points a game, eight FanDuel points a game. So take Mohamed Sanu for $3,000 less, who's going to have a bigger upside. Okay, Sanu is definitely the way to go. If Sanu, for whatever reason, doesn't play, bump it down to Taylor Gabriel. You need to have a wide receiver to pair with Matt Ryan, but Julio Jones, you're wasting your money. Spend it up on Antonio Brown instead of Julio. The other receiver, and I'm going with a quarterback here. Aaron Rodgers went down. So if you're coming in and you're the backup quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, you're playing at home. You're going up against the New Orleans Saints that are not a great pass defense either. Who are you going to throw the ball to? You're right. You're going to throw it to Jordy Nelson. Last week, Jordy Nelson, after Rodgers went down, still went on to have 10 targets. Jordy Nelson, 7,400 is a huge discount for this guy. I think everybody is going to be like, hey, there's no Rodgers, there's no passing game. Bail off of all those guys. Well, you know what? I hope they do, because I'm going to take Jordy Nelson to the tune of 2 touchdowns this week. Look for Jordy to pull it out, to be the safety valve, to be the go-to guy. He is the leader of that team right now with no Aaron Rodgers, at least on offense. Let's bump on down here. Tight ends, tight ends, tight ends. This is usually Kay Hass's favorite spot of the week. But I am going with one guy across the board, and I am going with Delanie Walker. Now, Delanie Walker, I mean, hell, they can do a jet sweep to Delanie Walker for a touchdown. Mariota can throw the ball to Delanie Walker. The guy is getting a ton of targets. He is definitely the number one receiving threat on the Titans team. Last week he had 8 targets. You know, granted, 4 receptions, 17 yards. He had a bad week. 1 rush, -3. Bad week. He's not going to have a bad week against Cleveland. You know why? Say it with me, everybody. Cleveland sucks. And what does Cleveland suck against the most? The tight end. Cleveland has given up more touchdowns to tight ends than any other team this year. Check that stat, because that might be fake news. But all I know is that they've given up a ton of touchdowns to tight ends. And in that red zone, you're looking for Derrick Henry, you're looking for Mariota to scramble, you're looking for Delanie Walker, and you're looking for Eric Decker. All right, so if you have all 4 of those guys, I feel completely fine with running some kind of stack with the Tennessee Titans this week. And it's definitely going to include Mariota. It's definitely going to include Henry. And it's definitely going to include Delanie Walker. Derek's your wild card. Decker is your wild card. You want to throw Decker in there? Go for a full-on 4-court press? Go for it. If not, that's fine. But the other 3, you need, especially against Cleveland. So that takes me down to, we have a flex play. You know what? Let me just jump to kickers, because kickers is only good on one side. I'm going with Stephen Gostkowski at home in New England. Highest over-under, you're home. That's supposedly the rule to go with. Most points, home, decent kicker. Stephen Gostkowski is the way to go. My defenses. Again, I am running the board on defense. I'm going with a still, it's probably around the 5th or 6th price defense on each. And that is the Minnesota Vikings at home in Minnesota. Baltimore. What is going on in Baltimore? You know, it's like they forgot how to play. You give Joe Flacco a couple $1 million. Yeah, what the hell? I'll just go chill in Audubon over the summer and head down to the Jersey Shore, you know, kick back a couple of orange crushes, throw down a couple crab fries, and forget how to play football. Well, guess what? Minnesota is going to take advantage of that. Minnesota's defense is tough. They're fierce. Bradford is the biggest waste of money the NFL has ever seen. I mean, holy shit. Could you imagine if you made as much money as Sam Bradford did in your career for as many days you have worked? The dude makes like $17 million per day of work. Like, that's insane. Like, people that hit the Mega Millions don't have it as good as Sam Bradford does. So, Minnesota needs to step it up. Case Keenum, McKinnon out there. You guys are doing a great job. But you know what? I also like McKinnon this week. You know what? If you need a guy in your lineup, McKinnon has been on fire. All right? The dude's giving you straight 20-point weeks 2 in a row. He's another guy. Don't snooze on him. But the defense is where I'm at right here. Baltimore, they don't have anybody that can run the ball. I mean, really, Buck Allen? Are you serious? That's like having freaking Uncle Buck run the ball. John Candy ain't going to do shit against the Vikings defense. Vikings are going to shut it down. They know that right now, if they have any chance, and they do have a chance, you know, Aaron Rodgers is out. Green Bay is going to fall apart. The Detroit Lions, are they or aren't they? We don't know yet. You know, are they a team or aren't they? The Bears, no. The Vikings, however, the Vikings have a chance to get in there and take the North. And it's going to go through their defense. Defense wins divisional championships. And in Peyton Manning's case, a Super Bowl. But obviously, as we know from last year, the defense couldn't hold. So Brady won the Super Bowl. So yeah, I'm taking the Minnesota Vikings on both sides, DraftKings and FanDuel. Coming over here, I only have $2,800 left on DraftKings. So when I'm bargain basement shopping, all right, and I'm looking up, I need to find somebody. And when you're looking at $2,800, in my mind, you don't go for a boom or bust. You go for the safest thing that's going to give you the most points. And Seth DeValve, I'll say his name again. You guys out there watching, you can look him up. Seth DeValve. He's the backup tight end for the Cleveland Browns. He doesn't even start. But the guy, I mean, talking about like the guy that's had a pretty decent, consistent season, over the past 5 games, he's had 5 targets, 4 targets, 3 targets, 2 receptions, 1 reception, 3 reception, 2 reception, with a touchdown thrown in there. So at the $2,800 bracket, he's giving you consistency at least. Cleveland's going to be down. Kaiser's going to have to throw the ball to somebody, and obviously you throw it to your tight end because it's the easiest, it's the safest, it's in the middle of the field, it's right in front of you. You don't have to worry about the pick six running in the flat. You don't need to worry about your 2-deep coverage with your safeties. You don't need to worry about double, triple coverage. You need to worry about your tight end beating a linebacker. And you know what? DeValve has done it this year. The guy's decent, you know. And the thing in his favor is Tennessee's pass defense sucks. All right, so my theme of the week is attacking weak defenses. And that's the way to go. At least it's 1, 2 out of the last 3 weeks for me. It's cashed huge. So Seth DeValve, you know, you get him in there at $2,600. He actually keeps you $200 on the bench. He's only $2,600. And you get in there, you get him 4 catches, 20 yards, and a touchdown. That is a huge return on investment right then and there. So that about sums it up. I think I did it rather fast, just being by myself this week. The other two cousins, like I said, one's getting his nails done. I think he's getting like a French pedicure, manicure, whatever. The other one needs beauty sleep so he can try to look as good as me. Let's look at what we got going on right now in our current leagues. I mean, we have hit a cold patch in hockey. I mean, we went ahead. We won the first 9 days in a row, and we hit a rough spot. I mean, just nobody wants to score. My DraftKings is not looking good. Not looking good at all. When you're playing hockey is a little bit of a different animal. Whereas you need to play lines, you need to play power plays, you need to kind of spot start a goalie because the goalie's going to make or break you. If your goalie has 20 saves, gives up 2 goals, 3 goals, and gets the loss, he's only getting you like 5 or 6 points on FanDuel. If your goalie faces 40 shots, gives up 2 or 3 goals, and gets the loss, he's getting you like 20 points on FanDuel. Your goalie gets the win at 40 shots, 2 goals, he's getting you like 30 points. All right, so, I mean, your goalie gives you a shutout. I mean, damn. You're getting 20 points. You're getting 8 for the win, 12 for the shutout. You're getting an extra 20 on top of all the saves. You're getting 40 to 50 points. You need the goalie. The goalie is the key. The goalie is like the pitcher. That's the spot you can't get wrong. Your stacks are like your lineups in baseball. You need to come up with a stack because if you hit the right stack, you get the goal, plus you get 2 assists. So, I mean, the goal, I believe, is 16 or 12 points, and the assists are 8. I mean, boom, you're at 26 points right then and there without even doing a thing. 28 points. So, let me see here what I got going on. FanDuel lineups on my Monday, Thursday. I am currently 0.7 out of the money with Alex Smith, Crabtree, Cooper, Kelsey, and Trevecchio to go. I'm going to cash. Let's see. Hockey, however. Hockey, I'm crushing. I have a 165 in hockey right now. Unfortunately, if I would have entered that in the big money tournament, it would have been worth $1,500 right now. But I entered 3 lineups. My GPP lineup is doing the best as I advertised, and it currently has a 165, which is tripling its money right now. And when you look at hockey, 165, and I have a goalie who's ahead right now who's going to get the win. So if he gets the win, I have Hutton right now. Say Hutton, he has 30 saves, gave up 2 goals, and he's at 16 points. So say he goes on ahead and gets another 5 saves, okay, and he gets the win. He's going to be add another 10 points to that. It's going to give me a 175 in my tournaments. That is going to be an absolutely huge number, and I'll take that every day of the week. So follow us. Like I said, we know what we're doing in hockey. Other guys out there enter 25, 100, 150 lineups. If you enter every single line in hockey, you're going to win. Follow us, play cash, and just double your money. If you double your money and you set your price, if you play $25 in cash and you play $4 or $3 in your tournament, that's $30 a day. You win your cash, you lose your tournament, guess what? You're still up $20. Put that $20 aside for football. Play your hockey the next day. Do the same thing. Don't double down on your money. Don't chase winnings. Don't chase losses. That's how you play every day. And last year we hit 3 or 4 GPPs first place. It wins you thousands of dollars. I went 3 days in a row last year where I won over $3 grand. 3 days in a row. You catch your hot streak, you catch it. You don't throw $3 grand on in the next day. Same way when you lose, you don't throw 50 bucks on to chase your 25. Find something you're comfortable with, play your cash, play my lineups, play your tournament. Go for it that way. You will win money. You won't lose money. All right? I'm not out of the cash. I'm in the cash 5 days out of the week. That's what you got to do. We don't post the cash wins because they're not exciting. People want to see the thousands of dollars. They want to see you come in top 3 on a GPP. And I do. I haven't this week, but I have this year. So follow us, like us, retweet us. This was Cortd doing a Cuz Picks production. As you can see, I got my Cuz over here, my Cuz over there. Hell, even my cat didn't show up tonight. You know it's bad. All right, guys. Thanks for following. I have 1 viewer still. I appreciate it. Get some sleep. All right, guys. Talk to you later.